We offer you deep historical information from history on YouTube channel. Subscribe. Now don't forget to turn on notifications.
Temple of Artemis, monument to a glorious past. Located in the ancient city of Ephesus, the Temple of Artemis is one of the most magnificent and iconic structures of the ancient world. Built in the 6th century BC, the temple is dedicated to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, and is recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Construction of the temple began in 560 BC with funding from the Lydian king Croesus. The first temple consisted of a wooden structure and was completed in 550 BC. However, it was burnt down in 356 BC by a man called Herostratus. After the fire, the temple was rebuilt in an even more magnificent manner. The construction of this second temple was funded by Alexander the Great in 329 BC and took about 120 years to complete. The rebuilt temple was a massive structure, 129 meters long and 78 meters wide. It consisted of an execution chamber surrounded by 127 ionic columns, 18 meters high and 1.2 meters in diameter. Inside the temple was a statue of Artemis, made of gold and ivory. This statue was 2 meters high and was considered one of the most valuable works of art in the ancient world. The Temple of Artemis was not only a religious building, but also an important commercial and cultural center for the city and region of Ephesus. There was an agora, bazaar, around the temple where merchants and pilgrims from all over the world gathered. Religious ceremonies, festivals, and competitions were also regularly held at the temple. The temple was badly damaged by an earthquake in 262 AD. Although it was later partially restored, it was closed in 401 AD by the Christian Emperor Theodosius II. The stones and statues of the temple were looted and used in other buildings. Today, all that remains of the Temple of Artemis is a column base and a few column fragments. However, the splendor and importance of the temple can still be felt. The Temple of Artemis remains one of the most important monuments of ancient Greek architecture and culture. Interesting facts about the temple: approximately 360 tons of marble were used in the construction of the temple. The roof of the temple is decorated with 150 bronze statues. The temple was one of the most important crucifixion centers in the ancient world. The temple was used as a state building by the Byzantine Empire before being converted into a church dedicated to the Virgin Mary. The Temple of Artemis was discovered and excavated by British archaeologists in the 19th century. Visit the Temple of Artemis. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the ancient city of Ephesus. The ruins of the temple are displayed in an open-air museum. Visitors can see the foundations of the temple, column bases, and several column fragments. There is also a museum with a reconstruction of the temple. If you are interested in ancient Greek history and culture, the Temple of Artemis is a must. This magnificent structure reveals the splendor and beauty of the ancient world. Temple of Artemis monument to a magnificent history. Detailed description. Located in the ancient city of Ephesus, the Temple of Artemis is one of the most magnificent and iconic structures of the ancient world. Built in the 6th century BC, the temple is dedicated to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, and is recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Construction and history of the temple. First temple, 560-356 BC. Construction of the first temple, which began in 560 BC, with funding from the Lydian king Croesus, was completed in 550 BC. This temple, made of wood, was 10 meters high and 55 meters wide. It was burnt down in 356 BC by a man called Herostratus. Second temple, 329 BC, 262 AD. After it was burnt down, the temple was rebuilt in even greater splendor. Financed by Alexander the Great. In 329 BC, it took about 120 years to build. Architectural features of the temple. Dimensions: 29 meters long and 78 meters wide. Cella, 18 meters high and 78 meters wide. Columns. It was surrounded by 127 ionic columns. Each column was 18 meters high and 1.2 meters in diameter. Sculpture. Inside the temple, there was a 2-meter-high statue of Artemis made of gold and ivory. Importance of the temple. Religious center. The Temple of Artemis was not only a religious building but also an important commercial and cultural center for the city of Ephesus and the region. Trade center. There was an agora, bazaar, around the temple where merchants and pilgrims from all over the world gathered. Cultural center. Religious ceremonies, festivals and competitions were regularly held at the temple. End of the temple. Earthquake. The temple was severely damaged by an earthquake in 262 AD. Repairs. Although it was later partially restored, it was closed in 401 AD by the Christian emperor Theodosius II. Looting. The stones and statues of the temple were looted and used in other buildings. Present condition. Remains. All that remains of the Temple of Artemis are a column base and a few column fragments. Museum. There is also a museum with a reconstruction of the temple. To visit. Popular tourist site. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the ancient city of Ephesus. Open-air museum. The ruins of the temple are displayed in an open-air museum. The impact of the Temple of Artemis. Art and architecture. The Temple of Artemis had a great influence on ancient Greek and Roman art and architecture. Archaeology. The discovery and excavation of the temple has greatly increased our knowledge of ancient Greek history and culture. Tourism. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most important tourist attractions in Turkey and attracts thousands of visitors every year. Temple of Artemis. A wonderful journey of mystery and lost treasures. The Temple of Artemis in the ancient city of Ephesus is not only one of the most magnificent structures of the ancient world, but also a story full of mysteries and lost treasures. In this article, I will share with you the unknown aspects of the Temple of Artemis, its lost treasures, and my own interpretations. Mysteries of the temple, the fire of Herostratus. It is known that the first version of the temple was burnt down by a man called Herostratus. However, Herostratus's motivation is still a mystery. Was he seeking fame or was he hostile to the temple? The answer is still unknown. Statue of Artemis. The gold and ivory statue of Artemis was one of the most valuable works of art in the ancient world. What happened to the statue in 401 AD is still a mystery. Some historians say it was destroyed, others say it was hidden. Golden treasures of the temple. The temple was filled not only with the statue of Artemis, but also with many statues and votive objects made of gold and silver. It is thought that these treasures were destroyed or looted in the earthquake of 262 AD. However, some researchers believe that the treasures are still buried near the temple. Lost treasures. Statue of Artemis. As mentioned above, the statue of Artemis was one of the temple's most valuable treasures. Although it is still not known exactly what happened to the statue in 401 AD, some researchers believe that parts of the statue may still be hidden in Ephesus or elsewhere in Turkey. Gold and silver objects. There were also many statues and other objects made of gold and silver dedicated to the temple. It is thought that these were also destroyed or looted in the earthquake. However, treasure hunters believe that these treasures are still buried near the temple, and illegal excavations are being carried out in the area. Sacred books. The Temple of Artemis was said to contain sacred books containing information about the cult and history of Artemis. It is thought that these books were destroyed when the temple was destroyed. However, some researchers believe that these books may have been hidden by the Christians. My own comments. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most important and mysterious buildings of the ancient world. The story of the temple and its lost treasures gives us valuable information about ancient Greek culture, history, and beliefs. The ruins of the temple and the museum offer visitors the opportunity to experience the splendor and beauty of the ancient world. However, treasure hunting activities around the temple are a cause for concern. These activities run the risk of destroying the temple ruins and possibly any treasures that may still be buried. Greater efforts are needed to protect the temple and its surroundings. The story of the Temple of Artemis reminds us of the value of the past and how much we should strive to preserve it. It is important that this wonderful structure is preserved and appreciated for future generations. Temple of Artemis. Predictions and possibilities. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most mysterious and fascinating structures of the ancient world. It still holds many secrets with its marvelous architecture, rich history, and lost treasures. In this article, I will talk about some predictions and possibilities about the temple, the future of the temple reconstruction. It is unlikely that the Temple of Artemis will be completely rebuilt. The original stones and sculptures of the temple have been destroyed, and its reconstruction will require a great cost and labor, conservation and restoration. Efforts are being made to preserve and restore the remains of the temple. These works will help preserve the temple for future generations. Archaeological excavations. There are still many archaeological excavations to be carried out around the temple. These excavations can help us learn more about the history of the temple and its lost treasures. Lost treasures, Statue of Artemis. There is a possibility that the statue of Artemis is still hidden in Ephesus or elsewhere in Turkey. Metal detectors and other technologies can be used to search for pieces of the statue. Gold and silver items. Many of the gold and silver statues and other items dedicated to the temple may still be buried near the temple. Treasure hunters carry out illegal excavations to find these treasures. Therefore, more efforts need to be made to protect the temple and the surrounding area. Sacred books. The Temple of Artemis is said to contain sacred books containing information about the cult and history of Artemis. It is possible that these books were hidden by Christians. Historical texts and archaeological findings can be searched to find these books. Other possibilities: secret rooms of the temple. There is a possibility that the temple has undiscovered secret rooms. These rooms may contain valuable treasures, such as the statue of Artemis, or documents containing information about the history of the temple. Curses of the temple. There are legends that the Temple of Artemis is cursed. According to these legends, those who loot or destroy the temple will be cursed. Secret powers of the temple. There are also beliefs that the Temple of Artemis has secret powers. It is believed that these powers can create miracles, such as healing or fulfilling wishes. Conclusion. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most fascinating and mysterious buildings of the ancient world. There are many legends and stories about its secret rooms and mysterious powers. These stories add to the attraction and mystery of the temple. There are many different theories and ideas about the future of the temple and its secrets that are still waiting to be solved. Additional information. Approximately 360 tons of marble were used in the construction of the temple. The roof of the temple is decorated with 150 bronze statues. The temple was one of the most important pilgrimage centers in the ancient world. The temple was used as a government building by the Byzantine Empire and was later converted into a church dedicated to the Virgin Mary. The Temple of Artemis was discovered and excavated by British archaeologists in the 19th century. Visit suggestions. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the ancient city of Ephesus. The ruins of the temple are displayed in the open-air museum. The Temple Museum is a good place to learn about the history of the temple and its archaeological findings. You can take a guided tour of the ancient city of Ephesus or explore on your own. Secret rooms and mysterious powers of the Temple of Artemis, located in the ancient city of Ephesus. The Temple of Artemis is one of the most magnificent and mysterious structures of the ancient world. With its magnificent architecture and rich history, the temple is not only a religious building, but also the subject of many legends and stories. Some of these stories concern the unexplored secret rooms and mysterious powers of the temple. Secret rooms, underground tunnels. There are rumors that there are secret tunnels under the temple that lead to sacred areas and a room where the statue of Artemis is hidden. It is believed that these tunnels were used by the temple's priests for ceremonies and rituals. Sacred treasures. It is believed that valuable treasures, such as statues and votive gold and silver objects, are kept in the secret rooms of the temple. It is believed that these treasures were lost during the sacking of the temple or are still hidden in the secret rooms. Ancient knowledge. It is also believed that ancient texts and documents containing information about the cult and history of Artemis are kept in the secret rooms of the temple. These texts can provide important information about ancient Greek history and culture. Mysterious powers. The temple's statue of Artemis is believed to have healing powers. Patients would try to find healing by touching the statue or drinking the temple's sacred waters. Fulfilling wishes. It is believed that making wishes by praying to Artemis of the temple will ensure that the wishes come true. This belief has made the temple a center of pilgrimage. Prophecies. There is also a belief that the priests of the temple make prophecies and can see the future. These beliefs have given the temple a mystical atmosphere. Reality or myth? There are many legends and stories about the secret rooms and mysterious powers of the temple. It is not known how much of these stories are true and how much are legends. Archaeological excavations have helped to uncover some of the temple's secrets, but there are still many mysteries to be solved.
We offer you deep historical information from history on YouTube channel. Subscribe. Now don't forget to turn on notifications.